Ladies and gentlemen, another day, another Sunshine Cup, another Vergyverg video. All right, yeah, in my past few videos, every time we went up against a Ferrothorn in Sunshine Cup, I was like, you guys know I'm going to run Ferrothorn at some point. I love Ferrothorn. I know a lot of y'all on the channel also love Ferrothorn, so I decided just to try it out, try a Ferrothorn team, and I went along the same lines as the Whimsicott team from yesterday. So, I'm gonna lead Ferrothorn because I feel like Talonflame lead is still being hated out so much that you can really lead grass. I don't know how much grass you can have in the other slots, but in the lead, grass feels pretty safe. Ferrothorn is good for several reasons. We'll just go over them real quick here. Flygon. We have a steel type. We resist Dragon Tail or any Dragon Claws. Going to take neutral damage from Scorching Sand, and in fact, the Shadow Flygon, if it hits you with Scorching Sand, it can definitely win the ones just by shielding through your moves. But if you do shield to Scorching Sand, or if you just call a Dragon Claw, which most of the time they go up to 8, and then they throw Dragon Claw because they can go back to back, Ferrothorn's very good in that matchup. Obviously, very good against Quagsire, especially the kind without Mud Bomb, which in this cup, we're not really running Mud Bomb. It's going to be an Aqua Tail, Stone Edge, Quagsire. But if you ever played out in the last meta, now things are obviously different. Mud Shot's changed, but it does more damage, but you get to your moves not as quickly, so it's very different. But in the last time that we saw Quagsire versus Ferrothorn in a lot of matchups last season, the Shadow one could win just because energy is crazy and you're outpacing like wild. In the back, going to have Dunsparce, so we obviously have a lead that is not very good against grass. In fact, we're double weak to grass. Fire. We're double weak to fire, so Talonflame will KO you in 3 incinerates. If you have a bad one, maybe even 2. I don't know, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart if you are running into Talonflame leads. But going ABB to Talonflame is the best chance you give yourself to facing Talonflame. So we have Dunsparce, which again, the best neutral mon in this cup. Maybe even defining in this cup with Flygon as well. And then with Whimsicott, we ran Shadow Flygon as another answer to Talonflame. But I actually went a little bit harder here and decided to go for the Shadow Quagsire. So, yeah, again, we're running the normal moveset for this cup. Aqua Tail, Stone Edge. Give yourself some chances against things. You can one-shot a Talonflame if shields are down. And, again, we're safe-swapping Dunsparce, so our finisher is going to be Quagsire. Now, let's go ahead and get into the games. First, if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button, and let's do it. Whoops, what is wrong here? There we go. All right, Whimsicott lead. Maybe it's our team, but we're actually really good into the Whimsicott. They end up switching into a normal type. I switched straight into Quagsire. I will say, I think I've seen 2 more Vigoroths since the last video, which... no, wait. I don't know how to say it because some of these are... either way, I've seen more Vigoroths than I'm definitely used to. I do end up throwing the Stone Edge here on CMP. Stone Edge will KO, whereas Aqua Tail I figured it would not KO from that distance, and then they'd get another move off, then I have to shield, and you do not want to shield as a Quagsire into a grass type, right? So, because you're just going to lose that match no matter what. I do get the Stone Edge off, which is neutral, and it actually does a lot. Whimsicott, obviously, we showcased it in the last video, but it has a very high attack stat, so it takes a lot of damage. And even though we don't have the greatest moves to face a Whimsicott here, on Ferrothorn, it's fine. Again, it's very frail. Basically, 2 Grass Knots or Power Whips are going to KO. Again, the moveset's over here on the left side. For me, on the right side. And we go into the Dunsparce mirror, and at first I'm like, I don't really care when I throw or anything. I'm not going to shield anything on this Dunsparce. At least I don't think so. I'm going to be all in on Ferrothorn. Really, the Whimsicott can't really do anything to us. Moonblast is the best move it has against us. We do resist it. We double resist Seed Bomb. They end up throwing the energy there, and I know that I'm 2 away from the next Power Whip. And I'm going to use both my shields here on the Ferrothorn anyways, so I'm going to switch in when they use energy to have... And I already had that energy advantage from leading into the Whimsicott and then coming back in against the Whimsicott. So I'm 2 Bullet Seeds in, so I'm halfway to that first Power Whip. So just a huge energy advantage there, especially after they threw on our own Dunsparce. And again, I don't care too much about the Whimsicott damage coming through, so we're just going to use all our shields on these drill runs. Even though these drill runs actually really don't do that much. They end up catching on the Whimsicott here. I really don't care. Well, I kind of care, because then I was like, you can't just decide to catch on me, I'll catch on you. And they didn't end up throwing, but all right. All right, Shadow Flygon, you'll be able to see this. I'd like to throw in 5. It takes them 6 Dragon Tails to get to Scorching Sands, and it takes them 4 to get to Dragon Claw. So if they throw on 4, I know it's a Dragon Claw, and if they decide to go up to 6, I don't want to CMP, because we do lose CMP to this mon. And they decide to go up to, I think this was 8. They throw a Dragon Claw, and then I throw right away, because they're either going to throw a second Dragon Claw, which we resist, and I win shield, or I'm going to be able to get the Power Whip through here. And then I decide, now we're too far into this energy where a Dragon Claw might KO, so I decide to let this go, and they actually throw Scorching Sands at me. That is, I mean, it's good play by them, because I guess they thought, you know what, they're going to try to get shield advantage. I don't know, but we do end up in this Dunsparce matchup. I do go up to maximum energy here. I can go 1 more and then throw another Aqua Tail, and then I can decide whether or not I want to go into my own Dunsparce and have this Quagsire with a big energy advantage. And I decide to do this, and I think the reasoning was that I still have Flygon to deal with. I want to go up a lot of energy here. I'm going to take 2 drill runs on my own Dunsparce, and they have the shiny, so their IVs are probably a little less good than mine, although I feel like my Dunsparce IVs are really bad, but because I made this when it came out, and I definitely have not made another one, they end up having a Obstagoon in the back. Pretty bad for me, if I'm being honest. But I have a move here on Quagsire, and I decide to go for the Stone Edge because it has the only chance of KOing, and they actually end up living. And then they end up throwing a move here. I'm like, can I think I have to shield this, and I just hope Switch isn't up, and they aren't switching out here, so I'm actually 1 away, and I believe they're also 1 away on the Flygon. So if they come in with the Flygon, I'm just going to throw as soon as possible. They do, and then this should KO, and we barely got through this matchup. It looks like we won great because we have 2 Pokemon, one with full or half HP, but it was not good. All right, Skeledirge. Technically, well, no, I'm fine coming in with this against the Skeledirge, because usually they'll have, and you'll survive a Shadow Ball here, so don't worry about this, as long as they did not shield first. But you always will see what they're going to do before they can throw at you. You faster your moves. But anyways, they're usually going to have something like Talonflame in the back, so I decided to switch into the Quagsire, and hope that it's ABB with Talonflame. And then obviously Dunsparce is double super effective against Talonflame. Yeah, ends up being a Talonflame. I do decide just to throw the Thunder here, which is the whole reason why I am running Thunder, just have an advantage against, or have some sort of play against the Talonflame here, and yeah, we're just going to get farmed down. I will say there are some awkward scenarios with this team and Abomasnow. I think I said this in the Abomasnow video, and probably a lot of videos, and I know that I've definitely said it in coaching sessions as well. I feel like teams that I make are very weak to Abomasnow in general, not even just this cup. I feel like in all the cups that end up, like the Great League Cups, I always build these weird things that aren't good against Abomasnow, because I feel like Abomasnow is going to be pretty hated out by a lot of things, but it ends up never being hated out. It's like double weak to Talonflame. Talonflame's the best mon in this cup as far as PvP rankings are concerned, but you still see Abomasnow, not that much, maybe 10% of teams, maybe a little less than 10%, but it feels like a decent amount, you know? And the last time Sunshine Cup was around, it was a Vigoroth meta where you saw Vigoroth on like 90% of teams, and I'm not even joking. That's literally how many percent I feel like were on those teams, and people were still running Abomasnow. It's just good against the other things, right? So it's whether or not you think, can I keep it away from the big monster of the meta to defeat all the little minions, because it's so good against everything else, and it truly is. So end up trying to get as much energy as I can here against the Credilli. We end up It looks like we won CMP, and I don't think that's possible, so I'm going to just say that didn't happen, but they end up having a Talonflame here in the back, and I decide, you know what, I can probably just go for a double Stone Edge here, now that they've swapped into the Licky Licky, and then I want to get as much energy as possible. They're only going to get to one move, so this is not the worst. Having the shield here is not the worst, but you do have to shield because Body Slam, even though it is reduced, it's going to do some amount of damage to you, and if you get too low, you can get farmed down by the Incinerates, right? So I decide I'm going to go for the Stone Edge. Again, they have 5-turn. Incinerate is a 5-turn move. We're using a 2-turn move, so I throw 2 Mud Shots and throw that Stone Edge. And then this is what our shield's for. And again, Stone Edge going to one-shot Talonflame, so boom. Again, against the 5-turn move with the 2-turn move, you want to go 2-4-7. 2-4-7. All right, Noctowl, not a mon you see that much, so things to think about. Wing Attack's been nerfed, which is what they're using. Doesn't give as much energy as before. Sky Attack was nerfed 2 seasons ago, maybe even 3 at this point, so don't have to worry too much about that. The thing I was worried about the most was getting Shadow Balled, even though it doesn't have Stab. And I really want to make sure that I have Ferrothorn. Even though it's actually pretty good in that matchup, you saw I left, and I went into the hard counter, which is whatever. I just wanted them to move out of that matchup, because I feel like Ferrothorn's going to be good here in the back, just because it's so neutral in the front, and I really would love to get it on something which is good for me. I forget if I decide to go for the shields here now. They have to hit Stone Edge, though. Very good by the opponent. Man, I'd love to just get some opponents that are just playing terrible. Isn't that what I feel like that's what we all want? Just like, oh, I want to go into a game and they play suboptimally and then I just win. We do have the shield advantage with Quagsire in the back. We do have to be worried about maybe something like a Credilli. I do know that this is in Grass Knot range, or Power Whip range rather, so I do want to have as much energy as possible, but also I kind of just want to see what's in the back at this point. If it is a Watermon, at least I can do some damage here. Otherwise, it ends up being a Dunsparce. I'm going to outpace it here as well, since I was 3 away, I guess, and they're going to be 4 away from their move, and then I can just come in with the Quagsire, and I'm just going to go up to 2 Aqua Tails and throw Aqua Tail, even though really they're only in Stone Edge range, because Mudshot has been changed to have higher damage, so I can maybe get a farm down, whereas before I would never have done that. If Mudshot was in its old energy, high energy gaining, then I would have gone for double Stone Edge here, but I figure, I'm not going to die to this, and even if I do, I'm still going to get a Bullet Seed off to KO this, so GG. All right, Dunsparce. It's an okay matchup. Again, Dunsparce is pretty neutral against everything in this cup, so, it's fine. I do think we are favored. I did notice they did go for a ton of energy here. They didn't throw at 4. They went all the way up to 7. So I'm going to throw right away. They are technically already at 2 moves, now a little bit more. But Power Whip's going to be much stronger. So I can eat this move. I can go a couple more, and then maybe I can't go 2 more, but I can at least go 1 more into the Power Whip here, and this will, I think it'll KO. I believe they end up shielding, because I think we end up in a weird multiple shield situation here, and I know I can go 1 more, but I think I might just throw right away. No, I do go 1 more. Awesome. Going for perfect energy here. I can't remember if they tried to go for the win here or not. No, they just let it go down, and then I switch it instantly, just in case I need Ferrothorn for something in the back. Ends up being Gastrodon, which is double weak to grass, but it does have Mud Slap. Now, it's not Shadow or anything, so it doesn't do that much damage, but Gastrodon's really good against Dunsparce. Really, all the Mud Slappers are really good against Dunsparce in a general sense, because they're doing a lot of damage through the basic attacks, basically. It does end up having Water Pulse here, which is... I think really good. I think we went over that in the Talonflame, anti-Talonflame video that Yusai put out, that we put out for Yusai. Of Yusai? Yeah. All right, and then I end up coming in trying to get a lot of energy, and then I go for a catch here. I'm just trying to get as much energy as possible on Quagsire before letting this Ferrothorn go. And I can definitely farm this down. I mean, Clodsire is not that good. I'm not very good against Quagsire at all. So technically, really, it only has Earthquake to hit us, and I'm just gonna go up to double Aqua Tail, and yeah, it just takes too much energy for them to get to these moves, and yeah, we obviously get to ours much quicker than they do, and actually do a little bit of damage now that Mudshot does some decent amount of energy damage. Or what am I even saying? They're a decent amount of fast attack damage. Done. Next video here. All right, Flygon. They end up switching into... I actually thought it was Skeleturge, but it's going to be Marowak, because you don't see Marowak that much. I think I said this in the last video now that I think about it, but when you see that ghost typing with the fire, I almost always think it's Skeleturge, but it ends up being Marowak, which is fine. They can hit us with Shadow Bone, so that's interesting to note. I do need to maintain switch, which is why I end up going to the shield disadvantage here. But I know that I can outpace I can go one more Mudshot and then go for an Aqua Tail, because we had such an energy advantage going into that Marowak. I guess it could be Talon in the back. If it's Talon, it's GG. This team's so weak to Quagsire. Yeah, we can go for the shield. In fact, I could just go for all fast attack at this point. I guess we can call a Brave Bird. All right, another Flame Charge. Now that they throw Flame Charge, I decide I'm going to try to take the shields. I can get to the energy maybe on the Quagsire here. They end up throwing on bad timing, but bad timing that gets them a move through. So now we're in a bit of a pickle where I don't think we can actually make it to this next Rock Slide, but they end up giving up anyways. We still have 3 Mon. I mean, yeah. Wigglytuff lead. Awesome for us. They end up switching in the The match is over before I can even get it right. Quagsire. And that they're just like, we're done. Outies. They end up... Okay, next game. Let's go back to the beginning here. Oh my god, yeah, Magcargo. And they actually play this really well. They go for a ton of energy here because they know that we can't really hit the Superior for very much. The reason you always throw Drill Run in the neutral matchups is because Rock Slide's not a good move. But Drill Run is resisted, being a ground-type move against a grass-type Mon. They are resisting ground type, so now I have to throw the Rock Slides, and it's like, this is awkward. It just doesn't do enough damage. They don't even have to shield this next Rock Slide. They really don't care. They probably can even throw before this. It's a question of whether or not I want shields, and I decide I do want shields down, because I need to get... Okay. Magcargo is frail, and it takes neutral damage from grass. I actually didn't think they would win CMP here, to be honest. But, so I can actually get a ton of energy with Power Whip and, with Ferrothorn and throw Power Whips. And 2 Power Whips will definitely KO Magcargo. In fact, 1 Power Whip, I believe, does something like 70%. So I'm going to go for the mass farm down here. Shields are down. I assume it's going to be double grass in the back. If it's Abomasnow... If it's Abomasnow, we might outpace with Quagsire, right? So I'm probably not too scared of Abomasnow here. I end up going up to 100 energy, so I don't even go for the extra Bullet Seed here. It really wouldn't matter. So, yeah, now I'll come in with Quagsire. They have a lot of energy. They're obviously at 4. Ends up being Whimsicott. They get to Seed Bomb fast. Obviously, we have a huge energy advantage, but... I'm going to have to... I already know the win con here. I'm going to have to get to 2 Power Whips on the Ferrothorn. 1 to KO this, 1 to KO Magcargo. But I don't think I outpace this. And, well, they have to throw Moonblast, I think. And by the time I get to 2, yeah, they already beat us. I think there's a Moonblast. To be honest, though, I played to my out, and my out wasn't possible. So... You know, there's not much you can do there. I'm not going to throw early. They've obviously thrown 4 Incinerates on Magcargo. They have a move, so I need to get to 2 moves. Whether or not I get there or not is whatever. Regular Flygon, so I almost actually just let this go through, but they end up throwing the Scorching Sands. Great for me. I do have a shield disadvantage now because they did let it go through, considering it is in the non-shadow. It's going to survive the single Power Whip. They end up coming in with Vigoroth. Horrific. I think I end up switching into Quagsire here, which is technically my best Vigoroth answer. only because I thought I might need Ferrothorn later, and since counter was nerfed, I think that I can actually make it to moves on my Dunsparce and Ferrothorn, even though they're so weak to Vigoroth in a general sense. I do think most Vigoroths I've seen have been running Brick Break, which is not a hard-hitting move in itself, but it does weaken you for the other counters. All right, they catch here on Diggersby. And I decide to store an Aqua Tail, come in here. I don't know. This wasn't the greatest move. They obviously were going to outpace me. They already had a little bit of energy anyways. But I'm in a weird situation where I don't know what to do. So I end up coming in with Quagsire, and I'm hoping this hits. Or I hope I can make it to another move here. And they end up throwing a move here, so they've made a huge mistake. Enter Arrested Development meme. I've made a huge mistake. Anyways, problem is Drill Run ain't gonna one-shot this. So I might get hit by 2 Scorching Sands. They end up catching on Vigoroth. I think this is also a mistake by the opponent because I don't end up taking any counter damage. And you saw from the first Scorching Sand, I'm not in Scorching Sand range. Now, they're going to live this Drill Run, but I don't think they're going to get to 2 moves. Even 2 fire punches, not enough. Alright, GG. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. You guys knew a Ferrothorn video was coming out soon. I mean, I love Ferrothorn. It was good in this cup. Still, I don't know why I said it was good. We're still in this cup for a few more days. Yeah, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. And I'll catch you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.